What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Crypto for You. My name's Tony, and today I want to look at Bitcoin because, as you guys know, Bitcoin has reached $93,000 yesterday. Bitcoin is pumping like crazy. Think about this for scale. If I go on the daily time frame, we were just about a week ago all the way down over here at 67,000, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles later, 9 days later, we're already at $94,000. So this was a 38% move in 9 days. That is insane, and that explains why, in the short term, Bitcoin has slowed down and is making a little tiny short term correction. But many people are asking me, Tony, are we done? Is this the all time high? Should we sell? And I'm like, no. I'll explain what we're going to do in the short term, but what's going to happen will not change what's going to happen in the long term. Let's talk about what's going to happen in the short term. So, like I said already, we had a 38% pump in 9 days. Of course, we need a small correction to just cool off. And while many people believe that some targets are never going to be reached again, this crash right here, I mean, this small pullback is on the hourly time frame, and it's not the end. I believe we could pull back a little bit more before we reach a $100,000. And it's the reason I believe that starts with us breaking this trend right over here. You know, Bitcoin likes to stay uh, in a trend on top of a trend line, and when it breaks that, there's usually a correction, and that's what we did on the hourly time frame. We broke this trend, which means most likely we have a bearish short-term trend for the short term. Another reason I think that this might be another correct, there might be a bigger correction happening, and this is in the bottom, is because if we go on the hourly time frame EMA ribbon, you can see that we have just now tapped the resistance line underneath the EMA ribbon. This is pretty bearish on the short term, like I said already, short term, and in the short term, we have just confirmed resistance and now we are falling down. Next candle will let us know whether we're going to fall down to lower levels or break back above it, because of course, if there's enough bullish momentum, we're going to break back above the EMA ribbon on the hourly. As long as we're above the EMA ribbon, we're in a bullish trend on the hourly, and when we break below it, we're on a short-term downward trend. That's exactly what happened right over here when Bitcoin went up to 73,000 from 66, and then it fell underneath the EMA ribbon, tapped resistance, and kept tapping the resistance until it broke it, and that's when the official bullish trend started for us. So now that we're back underneath it, we could see some pullbacks. Now, the big questions, where could this pullback take us? If we go on the 4 hourly time frame, first of all, you can see that we're tapping the top of this EMA ribbon on the 4 hourly time frame. Usually, if I just go back in time, when we fall into the EMA ribbon, we confirm support and then we continue going up. Sometimes we confirm support on the top of the 4 hourly EMA ribbon. Sometimes we fall all the way to the bottom. If we break it, it's a larger correction. And these corrections, if I just calculate this percent, are usually the correction that are 10% or 14% or 20% more. You can see right over here, this was a big, well, I'm looking at the area where Bitcoin was really volatile in both directions. But if we go to, like, for example, this bullish area, we confirmed support right over here on the EMA ribbon, stayed there for a while on the 4 hourly, and then kept going up. And these corrections, they were just really long sideways action, but they were 4%. You can see this crash right over here. If I just calculate this crash, we fell down and it was a 13% correction. Then we continued to go up. So it's just a pullback. But there's a possibility that right now Bitcoin could stop where it is right now and continue going up. But at the same time, because of this huge pump that we just had, I see there's a much more likelier chance that we could fall down to the bottom of the EMA ribbon on the 4 hourly time frame and test this level. I believe basically this level, the EMA ribbon, is at 82,000, and I believe Bitcoin's going to fall down to there. Not just because of the EMA ribbon, but if I return to my main chart and plot the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hourly time frame, I want to show something interesting, and that's the fact that Ichimoku cloud we have just entered the Ichimoku cloud, and Ichimoku cloud is around there. Ichimoku cloud is a huge support level that we also use on the for bullish and bearish trends, and when we confirm support on top of it, we go and rise even higher. So if we can confirm support on the top of the Ichimoku, that'll be really bullish. But once again, this is hourly, so if we do break below it, it's a small pullback lower to just gain some resistance back. One of my favorite indicators for figuring out where Bitcoin will go is the Fibonacci extension or Fibonacci retracement. And if we plot the Fibonacci retracement from here to here, you can see that the $83,000 area, the 82K that I was talking about, the bottom of the 4 hourly EMA ribbon, is at the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level. Now, there's another level at $87,000 that we're right now testing. So this is one big support level. If we break 87,200, we're most likely falling down to 83,300. If we confirm support on top of this, we can easily go up a little bit more. Now, some technical analysis patterns that I'm seeing that could cause some, of course, concern. One of them is, of course, this channel. Some people will drop and plot some kind of rising channel like this that we seem to be breaking out of. And if this is truly a channel, then the target of this channel would be at 83,200, that same target area. So this is a big target and big support area that we could fall down to. That's why I'm going to keep that on my chart. Another indicator that people are starting to mention, and that I honestly see myself, is the possibility of Bitcoin making a head and shoulders pattern on the 1 hourly time frame. And that would look something like this being the head, and then maybe a shoulder. This would be a trend based head and shoulders. And of course, if we do end up falling down to 84,900 and confirming support right over here, we will have a support resistance head and shoulders that will be straight, and we'll just have to break this neckline. If this ends up being a head and shoulders, what needs to happen for Bitcoin is it needs to fall down to around 84,500, confirm support, and that means the test for Bitcoin will be whether we break above 90K. Remember this. So if we break below this area at 87.4 and we confirm support at 85.1, then the next thing that Bitcoin's going to do is it's going to rise up to 90K once again. But don't be fooled, because once we reach $90,000, that is a big test for whether Bitcoin's going to be making a head and shoulders or not. And of course, we can break a little higher. So what we can do is plot a Fibonacci retracement and just see where Bitcoin can go. Most likely, the big resistance level for Bitcoin is around 89,400 to 90,400. We need to break this in order for Bitcoin to just potentially continue its trend to the upside. So that's what I'm going to be looking at for Bitcoin if we reach this level. Of course, if this ends up being a head and shoulders pattern, Bitcoin can go much lower than the target at $83,000. This head and shoulders pattern could take us all the way down to around $76,000 or $77,000, which a lot of people are saying we're too far away to reach. But I do want to point something out. If I go on the daily time frame, think about how high we have just went up, and think about how low usually we go to pull back. Usually we go 50% or 0.618%, so 61% of the way there, which is calculated by a Fibonacci retracement pattern that I already showed. And that shows that most likely the most farthest that we fall, or the average place that Bitcoin falls when we're pulling back before we continue going up, is this golden pocket that I have just drawn between the zero point 0.5 and 0.618. That's just how psychology works. And that level's between $80,000 and $76,000, which is the target of that potential head and shoulders pattern that's being created. What I'm saying is if we break $87,000, we're most likely falling down to 83,200. We break 83,800, we're falling down to this golden pocket. But actually, if we fall down to this golden pocket, in my personal opinion, this is much more bullish for Bitcoin on the longer time frame, because this would mean that we're in a classic trend. And now that we confirmed in the golden pocket, the next thing for Bitcoin to do is to go to $100,000. That's why I'm saying whatever happens in the short term will just be more bullish for us in the long term. Because if we fall down, if we have this small pullback, we can have a bigger rally up because we have more support to base our pumps off of. Some more levels I want to talk about, and that's these moving averages on the daily time frame. We usually fall down to these moving averages when we're in an upward trend, and as you can see, the 20-day moving average is quickly catching up to this $77,000 area. By the time if we do fall down to this area, the 20-day moving average could easily be there. Now, another question people have is, why does technical analysis work right now when there's enough bullish news in the market to drive up Bitcoin's price? And of course, we can see that if we go on to bullish news and bearish news, that there are some bearish news. For example, Jerome Powell says the Fed has no need to rush rate cuts anymore because the economy is strong. Now, why is this bad for Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin's a hedge against the US dollar, which means that when economy does poorly, Bitcoin does well. People rush out of the dollar and they go and buy Bitcoin because it's a hedge against the US dollar. So when the Jerome Powell says the dollar is strong and that there's no need to rush the rate cuts, that does take a toll for Bitcoin possibly, and that might be one of the reasons that Bitcoin is falling down in the short term. Once again, though, we have a lot of bullish news for crypto. For example, 18 states in the US sue the SEC and Chairman Gary Gensler for cryptocurrency actions. 18 states in the United States of America are suing the SEC for what they say is big government overreach with its enforcement efforts. They say that the SEC tried too many things, they went too far, and they were exerting unfair pressure on crypto. And because of that, they're suing SEC and Gary Gensler personally. Actually, Gary Gensler might be getting fired by Donald Trump himself. Trump has made a lot of big promises to the US crypto industry, one of which was to fire Gary Gensler on day one with his new administrator. Uh, this is really bullish for crypto because if we get a government SEC that is pro crypto, that can help a lot on crypto regulation and open up crypto for more people to buy. It'll be much easier to buy crypto. Crypto will thrive. So that is pretty bullish. But as you can see, the money is reacting more into Bitcoin not being that much powerful on the dollar, given that Bitcoin's a hedge against the US dollar, which means that we could see a slight pullback for the next couple days. But I'm sure, guys, even if this ends up being a head and shoulders pattern, we will fall to 78,000 in the short term and will continue going up. Actually, think about this. If we fall down to $76,000, this is a 17% pullback. That's it. If we go all the way back on to the daily time frame and just look at the average pullbacks in the previous cycle, they're much bigger. When we're having these huge pullbacks right over here, this pullback lasted 2 weeks, and think about this, this pullback was 30% in just 24 days, almost a month. And we recovered and reached back to the same level within 30 days. Within 1 month, we fell and retraced 30%. That's kind of insane. And that's exactly what Bitcoin did right over here. And so this 17% pullback that Bitcoin's doing is healthy for Bitcoin. It can continue the trend for Bitcoin. And of course, last but not least, we can buy Bitcoin at a lower price. And once again, we cannot know for sure if we will fall down. For all we know, we could end up confirming support on these lower levels. But the biggest targets are 80K and $78,000. And once we reach these, if we decide to reach these, the next targets are 100K, 150K. And I know that even if we do not end up falling down to here, we will end up at 100K and 150K, and we will pump higher than that because of how bullish the market is overall. I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick update on Bitcoin. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to watch my next video, guys. Subscribe so you never miss another video. Don't forget to follow my Telegram channel where I post new videos and talk about discussions and answer you guys' questions personally. Link is in the description and on the main channel. Don't forget to follow my X where I also post videos and post about the newest crypto news. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.